Welcome back to the channel, Treasure Coins, where hidden treasures of history come to life, and small things often carry the weight of unimaginable stories. Today, we are diving into a tale that starts with something so ordinary, something you might have handed to a cashier, dropped in your car's cup holder, or ignored entirely in your spare change jar. A 2012 D5-cent coin. A nickel. But not just any nickel. This one is a legend wrapped in copper and nickel plating, quietly harboring secrets worth a staggering $250 million. That number sounds outrageous, maybe even fictional. But by the end of this journey, you'll understand why this coin isn't just worth millions, it's worth the mystery, the controversy, and the chilling silence of secrets long buried in American numismatic history. We are not talking about minting errors or limited production runs. No. The story behind this 2012 D nickel stretches far beyond the US Mint. It reaches into the vaults of power, into global markets, and into the hands of people who were never supposed to own it. It all began in Denver, in the late months of 2011. The US Mint was preparing for the next year's coin production. The economic climate was shifting, and lawmakers were reviewing the cost of producing coins, especially the penny and the nickel. The 5-cent coin, though often overlooked, was under intense scrutiny for costing more to make than its face value. But while debates were happening in Washington about potential alloy changes, something else was happening in the Denver Mint, a decision or perhaps an accident that would send shockwaves through history. Rumors had been swelling for years that the US Mint was experimenting with ultra-rare prototype designs, never meant to be circulated. These coins, according to insider whispers, were used for internal testing, new materials, new design integrity, and durability trials. Normally, such coins would be destroyed after testing. But not this one. The 2012 D prototype slipped through the cracks, or was perhaps pushed. One coin made it out. Not just a prototype. A coin struck with a hybrid alloy formula that was never approved, bearing microscopic markings that tied it to a classified Department of Treasury initiative known internally as Project Sentinel. That name may not ring a bell, but in high-level numismatic and government circles, Project Sentinel was whispered about like folklore. A covert project with one goal: to create a line of currency embedded with nano-authentication technology. These coins could be tracked, monitored, and verified down to the molecule. It was the government's futuristic answer to counterfeiting, and allegedly a quiet response to increasing fears of foreign actors reproducing US coins at industrial scale. But as with all secretive government projects, things went sideways. Project Sentinel was abruptly terminated in early 2012 after massive budget blowouts and ethical concerns about privacy. All prototypes were reportedly ordered to be destroyed. Except one survived. That lone 2012 D5-cent coin was smuggled out. Some believe it was taken by a disillusioned engineer who feared the technology could be misused. Others think it was lifted during a gap in the Mint's security logs that coincided with a mysterious fire alarm on January 12, 2012. No fire was ever found. 4 years, the coin vanished into obscurity. Until 2018, when it appeared at a discreet underground auction in Zurich. The attendees were a curious mix: tech investors, former intelligence officers, and even a representative from a foreign central bank. The coin sold quietly for $32 million to an anonymous buyer who allegedly never even showed their face, only participating through a masked virtual feed. The buyer vanished. But the story didn't stop by 2020. The numismatic world was buzzing. A shadowy private collector known only as the Winterman began circulating digital scans and metallurgical breakdowns of a mysterious nickel. Every test confirmed it was not minted with any known alloy combination used in 2012. Furthermore, the coin's design was microscopically different, Jefferson's profile slightly altered, his collar more detailed, and hidden within the edge rim was a series of nano-inscriptions resembling blockchain code. This was when the world realized this coin was something else. Something more. A prototype? Yes. But also a glimpse into an abandoned future, where money and surveillance were meant to become one. The coin had moved again, this time to a secure vault in Singapore. Then in 2021, it was offered in a high-stakes trade, $250 million in cryptocurrency for the physical transfer of the coin to a sovereign wealth fund in the Middle East. The trade completed quietly, under cover of an international art and antiquities agreement. The true value of the coin wasn't just in its rarity or materials. It was what it represented. A convergence of government secrecy, technological ambition, and ethical unease. And now, it was in the hands of a nation-state. The numismatic community went into a frenzy. The US Mint, when asked, denied the coin's existence. Freedom of Information Act requests were stonewalled. But one document leaked in early 2022, an internal Treasury memo dated March 2012, discussing an authorized dispersal of experimental currency materials during Phase 4 Sentinel testing. That was all the proof the community needed, but why does it matter? Why would a simple 5-cent coin be worth $250 million? Because in the world of high finance and national security, physical artifacts can hold strategic value. That coin, embedded with technology designed to track money flows, could theoretically unlock a forgotten infrastructure of financial surveillance. Whoever held it, if they had the know-how, could reverse engineer the system and uncover the DNA of secret American fiscal programs, and yet, most people still think it's just a nickel. There's something poetic about that. That something so small, so often disregarded, could carry so much weight. Maybe it's a lesson. About the things we overlook. About the hidden layers of history. Or maybe it's just a reminder that in the world of money, power often hides in plain sight. Collectors today speak of the coin in hushed tones. It's never publicly displayed. Insurance companies refuse to underwrite it. Museums have tried to acquire it under the table, but no offers have been successful. Every few years, rumors pop up about its movement, a private jet arriving in Monaco under tight security, a briefcase exchanged in the back of a bulletproof SUV in Dubai, a tech billionaire holding a dinner party in Iceland where the coin was allegedly displayed under glass, and so, the legend grows. But the legend doesn't stop with auctions and vaults. There have been whispers about experiments connected to the coin. That in a lab in Stockholm, researchers discovered electromagnetic properties inconsistent with Earth-origin alloys. That in Tokyo, an AI was trained to analyze its patterns and spat out cryptographic keys that unlocked a hidden database believed to contain files from a defunct military cybersecurity wing. There are those who say the coin was never just about money or tracking. That it was part of a much deeper program, a physical keystone in a system of quantum currency, where physical items serve as access points to virtual vaults. If that were true, the coin could be more than rare. It could be a key to trillions, and then, there's the stranger stuff. Accounts from insiders who claim the coin is cursed. That people who held it for too long experienced vivid hallucinations, paranoia, and sudden wealth loss. A hedge fund manager who touched it reportedly vanished from public view. A Swiss banker who attempted to replicate it was found dead in his apartment, surrounded by blueprints and chemical compounds. Skeptics dismissed these stories as myth. Coin collectors chalk it up to exaggeration. But deep down, we all know there's something different about this one. Something that makes it feel alive. Or haunted. The longer the story lives on, the more layers are uncovered. The coin has become a totem, a relic of a shadowed future that never fully arrived. It serves as a reminder that behind every piece of currency is a network of people, policies, histories, and in rare cases, secrets that might change the world. If you find yourself holding a 2012 D nickel, feel its surface. Listen closely. Maybe it's just a coin. Or maybe, just maybe, you're holding a portal to a story the world was never meant to hear. We'll continue digging into rare currency finds, hidden histories, and the incredible wealth you might already hold in your hands. If you like this journey, there's a lot more coming your way. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your change close, and remember, the world's most valuable stories often begin with the smallest things. Next. It seemed like just another ordinary 5-cent coin when it first rolled off the press at the Philadelphia Mint in the year 2000. Yet over time, the legend of one singular 2000p Jefferson nickel would ripple through the numismatic world, becoming an anomaly of unparalleled worth and mystery. This particular coin, now valued at an astonishing $417 million, wasn't just a product of the mint, it was the product of a moment that should never have existed. The turn of the millennium brought with it not just technological fears and Y2K paranoia, but also immense changes within the United States Mint. In preparation for the 21st century, the Mint had been experimenting with a new proprietary metal blend intended to produce coins that were more resilient, lighter, and harder to counterfeit. It was a project buried deep within internal ledgers and never meant to leave the lab floor. But accidents, or perhaps interventions, can change the course of history. This coin was part of a trial batch of Jefferson nickels struck on a hybrid planchette, a material consisting of palladium, titanium, and copper, an alloy so rare that only a few test strikes were made before the project was scrapped. On paper, all test strikes were destroyed. Yet one coin somehow escaped that fate. One 2000p Jefferson nickel managed to enter public circulation, a phantom among common coins, indistinguishable at first glance, but priceless to those who knew what to look for. The coin's discovery didn't occur until 2007, when a retired engineer from Scranton, Pennsylvania named William Norcross stumbled upon it while rolling change for his grandchildren. It felt lighter in hand and had an almost bluish shimmer in the right light. Curious, he weighed it, inspected it under magnification, and quickly realized it was something unusual. He submitted the coin to a private lab before reaching out to numismatic experts. What they found stunned everyone. The metal composition had no match in any known US coin. Word spread, but it didn't take long before the Mint stepped in. First, they denied the coin's authenticity, claiming all test samples had been accounted for and destroyed. But then, as journalists and collectors pushed harder, the Mint changed its tune. The case file vanished from public archives. William Norcross, once eager to share his discovery, abruptly withdrew from all media engagements and sold his home within weeks. The coin? Vanished from public view, presumably in the hands of a wealthy and anonymous buyer. Speculation about the buyer's identity runs rampant. Some say it was a Russian oligarch obsessed with American coinage. Others believe it was acquired by a Silicon Valley magnate looking to own tangible pieces of unknown technology. Still others whisper that the coin never left government possession and was quietly retrieved under a sealed court order, but the story doesn't end there. In 2014, a set of encrypted emails leaked from a defunct US Mint contractor referenced an artifact codenamed Echo 5. In the emails, discussions about reconstructing the metallurgical profile of the 2000p hybrid coin surfaced. The goal? To develop a material with ideal electromagnetic properties for high-frequency security scans. If true, this nickel was more than a prototype, it was the missing key in a larger defense technology initiative. The coin's value skyrocketed not just due to rarity, but because it became a nexus point of converging interests, technology, national security, and hidden governmental experimentation. The private market, driven by quiet auctions and encrypted transactions, eventually pegged its value at over $417 million. Yet, no one can say for sure where it is now. What is known is that the US Mint has officially issued internal memos to monitor any additional appearances of similar compositions, and customs agencies have been quietly trained to flag coins exhibiting certain spectrographic anomalies. Some collectors spend their lives sifting through change, hoping to find the mythical second 2000p Jefferson nickel. Conspiracy forums document supposed sightings. Collectors shows see whispered trades of coins thought to be close, but never quite it. The legend only grows. In the vast universe of coin collecting, many artifacts are famous for errors, for age, or for beauty. But only a rare few are famous for what they represent. This one does. It stands as a symbol of a moment lost in time, of a technology almost born, of a mistake that may have been anything but, And if you ever find yourself holding a 2000p Jefferson nickel that feels just a little bit different, lighter, cooler to the touch, with a strange hue when tilted against the light, you might want to take a closer look. Because lightning may strike twice, and history has a funny way of hiding in plain sight. Years passed and whispers became obsessions. By 2019, new leads had surfaced thanks to an anonymous source in the form of heavily redacted lab notes sent to a private coin museum in Kentucky. These notes, dated March 1999, referenced material G17, believed to be the precursor to the alloy used in the infamous coin. The notes even detailed successful test strikes using a Jefferson nickel die, with meticulous notations on how the new composition improved electromagnetic shielding. The implications caused a stir. Not only was the coin a one-of-a-kind collector's item, it now potentially held classified defense relevance. Historians and former contractors began to piece together a narrative suggesting that the 2000p experiment wasn't meant for public coinage at all. Instead, it may have been a covert test for a new standard in embedded coin-based surveillance technology. As bizarre as it sounded, the physics of such materials hinted at possible data storage capabilities far beyond public knowledge at the time. In 2022, a clandestine auction, conducted entirely via blockchain and hosted through encrypted livestream, was rumored to have offered the coin once more. The final bid? A staggering $417 million, placed by a bidder using a cryptographic identity later traced to a lab in Zurich specializing in quantum encryption. Some believe the coin is now being reverse-engineered as part of a next-generation data security program, operating at the intersection of materials science and AI. The story of the 2000p Jefferson nickel continues to evolve. Each decade brings new fragments, a journal entry, a photograph, an anonymous message dropped in a forum, and with them, new questions. Was it an accident? A cover-up? A planned test of public reaction to anomalous circulation? Or is it something even stranger, a silent token of technologies we've yet to fully understand? In the world of numismatics, few coins come with stories that stretch beyond minting presses and die eras. This one does. It lives in the murky overlap between fact and folklore, science and speculation. And somewhere out there, locked in a vault or buried in a private archive, sits a coin that may one day change our understanding not just of money, but of what a coin can become. Not long after the Zurich auction, a newly declassified Department of Energy document was unearthed by Freedom of Information advocates. In this file, a single line referred cryptically to an MKUltra metallic derivative prototype embedded in currency-grade nickel alloy. The mention was so obscure, so shrouded in cold voyeur secrecy, that many dismissed it as coincidence. But a few well-informed individuals saw it differently. Could the 2000p Jefferson nickel be a relic of abandoned mind control research, slipped into public hands for monitoring behavioral impact? Such theories gained traction when a second collector, Thomas Reeve from Portland, Oregon, publicly claimed to own a coin identical in weight and magnetic signature to the mythical Jefferson prototype. He described recurring lucid dreams, unusual electromagnetic interference in his home, and even bizarre encounters with unidentified individuals asking vague questions about coin provenance. Reeve eventually disappeared, his house sold under an anonymous trust. His coin? Rumored to have been recovered by a government entity operating under a shell corporation. Now, a new wave of underground collectors, some calling themselves the Nickel Hunters, dedicate their lives to locating this rare artifact. Using modified metal detectors, AI-driven change sorters, and hyperspectral imaging rigs, they comb through thrift stores, flea markets, bank rolls, and estate sales in pursuit of the one object that could redefine reality. One faction believes the coin is actually a form of alien technology seeded through the minting process by unknown forces. Another group, more grounded in historical research, links it to a defunct Pentagon operation named Project Coinveil, theorizing that the coin might serve as a beacon or transmitter when placed near certain frequencies. Despite all the intrigue, no one has successfully authenticated a second 2000p hybrid Jefferson nickel. but the search has become a phenomenon. Online marketplaces have seen wild speculation, with counterfeiters trying to replicate the shimmer and weight of the coin using titanium-laced alloys. Entire YouTube channels exist solely to debunk or promote alleged finds. Meanwhile, academic institutions cautiously explore new alloys that match the coin's rumored profile. None have succeeded. Still, those who believe in the coin's power, its real power, are convinced that it holds something beyond monetary value. That it carries memory. That it is the last fragment of a forgotten experiment in consciousness, technology, and currency. And somewhere out there, perhaps deep in a mountainside vault or locked in a time-release safe, the coin waits. Not for a collector, not for a thief, but for the right moment. For history to catch up to its true meaning. That's all for today's video. If you found this story as amazing as I did, don't forget to like,